Hi students, in this video I am going to explain you about sexual reproduction in plants from the lesson How Do Organisms Reproduce. Before I start the lesson, I want you to ask a question. Do organisms create exact copies of themselves? Do organisms create exact copies of themselves? Yes, organisms create exact copies of themselves by reproduction process. Yes, children, organisms create exact copies of themselves by reproduction process. You all know, children, what is reproduction? Reproduction is the process of giving birth to young ones of their own kind in order to continue their progeny. So this reproduction involves making copies of the blueprint of body design. Understood, children? This reproductive process involves in making copies of the blueprints of body design. So then, what is the material or informative source which functions in producing working copies? I told you it's the reproductive process. Then, in the reproductive process, what is that informative source which functions in producing working copies? Yes, children, it is the DNA. So, what is the full form of DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid. What is it, children? Deoxyribonucleic acid. It is this DNA which functions as blueprint of life, as it is the informative source in running cellular machinery and also organization of cells into tissues into organs into organ system, and organ system into organism or body structure. You all understood, children? So where exactly is this DNA found? DNA is normally found in the chromatin of nucleus. Where it is found, children? In the chromatin of nucleus. Later on, the chromatin changes into chromosomes at the time of cell division. You understood, children? At the time of cell division, the chromatin network changes into chromosomes. Prior to cell division, the DNA replicates so as to form two copies which remain attached in the form of two chromatids of a chromosome. You understood, children? So the basic concept here, two organisms create exact copies of themselves. You have tried? Yes, organisms create exact copies of themselves by the process of reproduction, and that too, it is the DNA which helps to function as blueprint of life. Now we shall see reproduction in plants, children. Sexual reproduction in plants. In plants, the reproductive part is the flower, children. So what is the reproductive part in a plant? It is the flower. Flower is the reproductive part of a plant which brings about sexual reproduction. So here you have hibiscus flower, children. Hibiscus flower is considered to be a typical flower because it contains both male and female reproductive structures. So this flower is a bisexual flower, whereas you find some plants have unisexual flowers, that is, having a flower will be having either male reproductive structures or female reproductive structures. But here hibiscus flower is considered to be a bisexual flower which has both male and female structures in it. Now you can see this green part is called the calyx, children. What we call this as calyx, which gives protection to the flower when it is at bud stage. And you can see here epicalyx, and that will connect to the stalk. And you can see a colorful structures, children. These are called as petals. What we call them? Petals or corolla. These petals help in attracting the insects. These colorful petals help in attracting the insects for pollination and further fertilization. Now, if you remove this calyx, children, if you remove the calyx, you find a bulged structure. You can see a bulged structure. This is called as ovary. This bulged structure is called ovary. Can you see, children? This bulged structure is called ovary. This ovary is actually connected to the style and stigma. So you can remove the petals, children. If you keep the petals aside, you can see the structure like this. So you can see a structure like this. So you can see a structure. This is called stigma, children. What we call this as stigma. And this part, stigma, is continued as style. Stigma, style, and you can see a ovary. Okay, children. So actually you have to, here, if you remove this fleshy part, this is how you can see the structure here, children. This is called stigma and style, and the style is connected to the ovary, children. Stigma, style and ovary. This part we call it as female reproductive part. Female reproductive part of a flower. Reproductive part of a flower. So what is the female? This we call, this total is called as carpel, or we call it as pistil. Carpel or pistil. So here stigma, style and connected to ovary. Stigma, style and ovary, we call it as female reproductive part, or we call it as carpel, children. Now this female part is also called gynoecium, children. What we call it as gynoecium. And whereas if you say, take the stamens, children, here, stamens, you can see the stamens here. The stamen structure will be like this, and the filament, children. And this we call it as, this whole structure is called anther, children. What we call it as anther. So the anther has stamen and the filament. Stamen and the filament. And you can see this stamen has pollen sac. We call this as pollen sac. And the pollen sac, when you take the cross section, you can see pollen grains. And these pollen grains are the male gametes. These are the male gametes which help in reproduction in flowers, which undergoes sexual reproduction in flowers. So when these pollen grains, see, when you touch the stamens, children, you find dusty particles will be found. These dusty pollen grains, when they fall on the stigma, of the flower, the process is called as pollination. Pollination. You understood, children? When the male part of a flower, we call it as androecium. That is anther, filament. This whole structure is called anther, and you find the stamens. And when the stamens, when you take the cross section of stamen cross section, you find pollen sac, and pollen sac has got pollen grains. And these pollen grains, when they fall on the stigma of the flower, that is the female part of the flower, the pollen grains make a passage through the stigma down through the style and forms a pollen tube and reach the ovary. Now this is the female part, children. The female part consists of stigma, style and ovary. The stigma is the base, or we can say it is the sticky landing site for receiving the pollen grains. And then style is nothing but which extends to the ovary. And when you break out and see the ovary, you find ovules. Ovary contains ovules that develop into seed. And inside the ovary, you find ovules, children. So these ovules will develop into seeds, and the whole ovary will develop into fruit. Now when the pollen grains fall onto the stigma, children, so the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of a flower, we call this as pollination. So what is pollination, children? The transfer of pollen grains from the anthers to the stigma of a flower, we call it as pollination. So if the pollination or transfer of pollen grains is within the same flower, see now for example, hibiscus flower has both male and female structures. So if these pollen grains fall on the stigma of the same flower, we call it as self-pollination. You all understood, children? If the pollen grains of the same flower, if the pollen grains of the flower falls on the stigma of the same flower, then we call it as self-pollination. Or one more we have, children, if the pollen grains are transferred from one flower to another flower of the same species. From one flower to another flower of the same species. So if the pollination takes place in the same flower, then we call it self. From one flower to another flower, if the transfer of pollen grains takes place, we call it as what? Cross-pollination. Now, when the pollen grains lands on the surface, when the pollen grains fall on the stigma, it produces a pollen tube, children. It produces a pollen tube, and the inside of the tip of the tube, pollen tube, that is, once it develops a pollen tube, the inside of the tip of the pollen tube contains male cells, children. Male cells. These tubes grow down to the style to reach the ovules. So once they fall, the pollen grains fall on the stigma, they develop pollen tube and they start moving down to reach the ovules. And ovules are found in the ovary. So inside each ovule there is an egg cell, children. Inside each ovule there is an egg cell, that is the female part. So the pollen tube is the male gamete, which makes an entry to reach the ovule. So inside the ovule you find egg cell. Okay, children. Once the pollen tube reaches the ovule, the tube bursts to release two male gametes. It releases two male gametes. One male gamete fuses with the egg or oosphere to form diploid zygote, children. This you have to remember. So once the pollen tube reaches the ovule, it bursts out to release two male gametes. One male gamete fuses with the egg to form a diploid zygote, which later on grows into embryo. You all understood, children? Once the pollen tube reaches the ovary, ovule of the ovary, it develops or produces two male gametes. So the pollen tube fuses with the one male gamete fuses with the egg to form a diploid zygote, which later on develops into embryo. The second male gamete fuses. The second male gamete fuses with the binucleate polar nuclei, children. So inside the ovule, inside the ovary, you can see the second male gamete fuses with the binucleate polar nuclei to form primary endosperm cells. This primary endosperm cells divides to form a nutritive tissue called endosperm to nourish the embryo during its development. You all understood, children? The second male gamete fuses with the binucleate polar nuclei to form endosperm cells. These endosperm cells divides to form a nutritive tissue called endosperm to nourish the embryo during its development. In flowering plants, there is double fertilization, children. Why we call it as double fertilization? Because once the pollen tube reaches the ovule, it produces two male gametes, one forming into endosperm and the other forming into embryo. When the embryo is fully formed, the integument of the ovule gets transferred or transformed into seed coat. You all understood, children? Once the embryo is fully developed, the ovule gets transformed into seed coat, which changes into seed. That means the ovule will change it into seed and the whole ovary grows into fruit. You all understood, children? Now what is pollination? The transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma is called pollination. And then once the pollen grains lands on the surface of the stigma, they start producing tube, and then that tube produces gametes, and these gametes, one of the gamete fuses with the ovule, which contains egg cell to form embryo or to form a zygote, and that zygote will develop after fusion takes place. The zygote will later on develop into embryo. So this process we call it as fertilization. Okay children, so in the next video I am going to explain you about reproduction in unicellular organisms, or we can learn asexual reproductive process. Thank you.